Welcome to the Tombs of a Masket, Old School RuneScape's most recent raid. While it was the third raid in Old School RuneScape's history, it was personally my first raiding experience that got me into raiding. Hey y'all, so first off I wanted to say how excited I was that so many people wanted to see my first video. I had an awesome time playing the league the whole time. I pushed and ended at rank 418, but I'm also looking forward to getting back to this series. So Tombs of a Masket released in 2022. I can't believe it's been that long already, but my previous Chambers video covered basically from roughly 2023 to 2024, almost a whole year's worth. And this Tombs of a Masket video will basically cover the same time period. I did a bunch of TOA and Chambers kind of bouncing back and forth. So once this video is over, I'll be caught up to that timeline and we can kind of progress forward from there. With that, let's get into my first 20 Tombs of a Masket purples. So I'll be going for all the items here. That includes all of the items in the collection log, including the transmogs and capes eventually. The two items I would want the most are of course the Fang and the Shadow, the two weapons. Both these weapons are incredibly insane at TOA specifically. The Fang is twice as good inside TOA, and the Shadow gets an extra multiplier in the tombs also. So the sooner I can get both of these items, then the rest of the TOA runs become easier. So I dug way back and found that I did 1 kill count right when it came out. This was a normal run, and it's kind of fun to see my gear back then. You can see I have dragon hide body as well as a normal crystal bow as my main weapon. Then I've got like a fire cape, fighter torso, and a Zami Hosta was the item I had. I got super spooned at Krill. This was back when you had to just melee him, and I got it on the 4th kill, so that was really nice. So I took a break after this because I just felt like I didn't have the gear for it. And I'll have to use screenshots for these early kills, and I'll have the video clips a little later on. So I came back for the next kill 6 months later. It looks like I finally got a couple of crystal armor pieces, but I was still using the crystal bow and Zami Hosta as my main weapon. And I joined a clan around this time. It just made the game a lot more fun finally to start playing with people and be in Discord and chatting. We started doing a lot of group raids, and so I'll always have pretty fond memories of Tombs of a Masket because it's what got me into raiding in the first place. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but the raid became slowly less fun and less fun a lot later, but I'll talk more about that later. So you can see here I got my thread, which is really nice. And then on kill count 9, I got my Jewel of the Sun. This was quite a surprise, considering that it's a 1 out of 180 flat drop rate. And it makes the Karis just a completely busted item. This will make all the TOA runs a lot easier to do because you can use 75% of your special and heal to 118 HP. So you can just bring in more prayer potions and less brews. You can also kill things like eggs at Kefri or skulls and Warden, and it'll heal you without having to use any special. So what I would do around this time was like 3 to 5 Corrupted Gauntlet each day to not get too burned out. And then I would raid when there were people from the clan on. That made it a lot more fun. This was the highest solo that I got done, was a 245 with my crystal bow. Then at 633 KC, I got my enhanced crystal weapon seed. So that was amazing. The Bofa was just such a great upgrade. So the raids started to get much easier and started to push into doing experts. So with that upgrade, I pushed the Invo up to a 350 and got my Missouri crafting kit. And this lets me turn my assembler into a backpack that more matches the Missouri, but it also does a decent job of matching the black crystal armor. And back then I was kind of rocking a blue helm with the blue bow. I thought it looked cool at the time, but don't worry, I changed it a little later. And finally, after 25 normals and 37 experts, I got my first purple, which was a Missouri body. So the Missouri body is a good item. Most notably, it has 4 range strength, which Armadillo didn't have any range strength at all, so it's still a huge item to get. I just remember at the time being a little disappointed, knowing that it was completely useless to me because I didn't even have a blowpipe, and the crystal armor gives 15% bonus to the Bofa, so I really wouldn't get any use out of it. I really wanted a Fang because I knew it would just make the raids so much easier, but was still happy to just finally get my first purple. Then I went to go kill some bandos with the door to altar method with the Bofa, and I got the pet General Guardor on kill count 74. This was pretty nuts. Shout out to Jagex for making Bandos be able to be instanced. It's one of the biggest updates they made to Ironman. I got like 50 kills prior to this with just meleeing, and you would get crashed all the time. I would get 2 kills, and then people would just come in and take over the world. So Bandos has gotten a lot more fun. And on 262, I got the Bandos hilt. That made TOA much easier because it's the best spec weapon to bring for lowering defense in the raid, since you can only lower most things by 20 defense. I got a little unlucky on the armor pieces. I didn't get my first piece till 600 kills, and it was a Bandos chestplate. It's a nice upgrade. It doesn't help me a ton since I already have the torso, but was happy to see it. Went back with a friend to do my first over 400 raid, and I got a light bearer. This was only 5 kills later after my first purple, so the RNG was balancing out after this, which was great. The light bearer is an awesome item. It doubles the amount of special energy you recharge, and special energy is really good at TOA. This combined with the Karis especially means you pretty much can heal constantly throughout a fight. A good example is the pillar at Warden, where I pre-pot an adrenaline. Since the damage is so predictable, you'll see I'm at literally 1 HP, and then I use the Karis to get up to 118, and then eat more damage, and then I have enough special, even though I was just at 7%, to heal up again after taking more damage. So the highest solo at the time was a 325 without a Fang, but luckily for me, 8 raids later, I got the first Osmoton's Fang. This weapon is so busted. On release, they had to even nerf it. It used to re-roll the opponent's defense as well as rolling your attack to see which one is higher. They got rid of the rolling the opponent's defense, but they actually left that in for when you're using it within Tombs of a Masket. So it's literally twice as good within the Tombs of a Masket. This will let me push higher invos and get more drops. So this is such an amazing item to get. So you can see I pushed to 390, and that became my bread and butter for the next couple hundred raids, was running 390s. Then 30 raids after the Fang, I got my first duplicate, which was a Missouri chest. Back to the first purple I got. I guess it's kind of lucky that the duplicate was an expensive one. This was around 130 mil at the time. I drop traded over my dupes in order to get some split money. Overall, that's 4 purples at around 100 kills. So I remember I rage quit when I died to Akka, and I ran off and did a CG. You can still see my inventory is still set up for TOA, and I ended up getting the Young Lift pet on that day. So that was kind of fun. This was at 640 completions, and that is my first boss green log. And passively getting more upgrades. The one place I was able to use my Missouri chest was at killing Basilisk Knights, and I killed 751, so it was perfectly below rate, which was great. I got the jaw, so I finally was able to upgrade my Serp helm to the face guard. The one downside was I did have to worry about pre-popping an antidote for Kefri, and I was able to get venomed at the monkeys, but overall it was worth it for the DPS increase. And continuing to do about 1 or 2 raids every day. 30 raids later, I got a Missouri Chaps. Still doing mostly solos, but this was during a 7-man clan event, so that was fun. At this point, I was a little unlucky as far as the amount of purples went, but very lucky on the quality of purples, since the only dupe I had received was one of the expensive ones, and I have not gotten any dupe rings or fangs, which is interesting because they have such a high chance to drop. It's almost a 60% chance that you get a ring or a fang. So definitely can't complain too much at this point. Getting Missouri top and bottom by 130 kills is great. And right after this, I got my first purple from Theater of Blood. This was on kill 25, and it was a Sanguinesti staff, which is awesome. Nice little upgrade for TOA. It is rather pricey to use at 3 blood runes each cast, but it's nice because it heals you. So I'll start using this at both TOA and Chambers. One thing I found kind of annoying at TOA with it is it doesn't heal you during this phase at Warden, which is really annoying because he constantly hits you with chip damage. So I feel like it would be one of the few places that it actually would be good and useful at, but oh well. And sticking with Theater of Blood, 17 kills later on 42, I got my Avernic Defender hilt. So I'm finally able to be a proud owner of an Avernic Defender, which was awesome. I use it at TOA quite a bit actually because of Kefri. I use the Fang as well as Baba, and then I use it on the core as well, which every little strength bonus you can get on the core increases your max hit. So every max hit is very valuable. So back to TOA, 20 kills later, I got my first dupe Lightbearer, and then actually back to back, I got another Missouri chest. So that's my third one. And then, if you would believe it, back to 3 back, I got a dupe Fang. So this is the only back 3 back I've ever had and probably will ever have. They were all 390 solos. So that was pretty insane. Before this, I was sitting at only 5 purples at 130 experts. which is not good at all, considering I have a 9.5% drop rate each time. But getting 3 in a row and having 8 by 135 definitely helps balance it out. I still can't complain because the variety of purples has been great. And then kind of a side note, but around now is when I got my Hydra's Claw, which you can see in the chat was right at 1066. And this was when I decided to go do chambers. So I had all these TOA purples under my belt before I started my chambers journey. So if you want to see all that happened there, make sure to go and watch the first video. But back at TOA, 6 kills later, I got another dupe light bearer. You can also see that I finally changed my armor to be just all black with a green bow. And I decided that's the coolest combination you can get. So I'm very happy with that. I still have it to this day. And I know this looks like the same screenshot, but it is 8 kills later with another dupe ring on 149 experts. And then got a back-to-back purple into a Fang on 150. So the RNG definitely is bounced back to even out at this point. 11 purples in 150 experts is pretty much perfectly on rate. So definitely thrilled with that. Not TOA related, but I got 99 crafting around this time. So this was one of my earlier 99s, and it is so awesome to have that cape that teleports you right to the bank. And I did keep doing CG here and there. I just really enjoyed the content. And on 697, I got my second enhanced. So this was awesome. I made a salad blade, colored it green, and it was actually good for TOA because I started using it on the core. Up to this point, I'd been using a dragon dagger with an adrenaline, but now I just decided to use the sword itself, since I was going for 3 downs anyways. Okay, finally made it to the point where I started recording clips, so thanks for bearing with me on the screenshots. This was the first clip I recorded. It was when we were going for the achievement where you have to have everything below 75 or lower.
Oh, no. Oh, my.
No way. God damn it.
Oh, no. He was just like,
There goes our red Xer.
Let me wander over here to the middle. Oh my gosh.
There goes our red Xer.
Oh man, yes. What's it gonna be? Oh my gosh. Come on, staff. Oh, another Fang. No back-to-back. Oh, we got something. Pause. What's it gonna be? Please be a staff. Please be a staff. Oh, it's a new one. I'll take it. Very happy that it's a unique at least. That was on kill 169, and that was my 13th purple. And now I'm just missing the mask and the shadow. So a solid log so far. So I won't do a full guide or anything, but I figured I'd mention a few tips and tricks that I do on each boss occasionally in between purples. For Kefri, I do run more overlords, and I make a little V here. And because my magic is so weak, I just melee the ranger, and then by the time I kill the ranger, the melee is usually here. And then I'll go to the other side and wait for the next phase. And then when the ranger spawns, if you go into this corner, then the ranger will drag towards you and get stuck. And then when I attack the major, I'll do it normally. And then if I stay in this western area, the opposite of the ranger, then it can't reach me or attack me. So I'll just stay in this area, finish off the arcane, and then finish off killing the melee. And it makes easy with the Fang. Then I just make sure to keep the mud on each corner, and it's easy from there. Did some Zulrah on the side, and at 1,650 kills, I still don't have a blowpipe, but I at least got the pet, so that was nice to get. We'll get the blowpipe eventually, hopefully. And then keeping up the Tobs on the side, I got a Justiciar chest guard. So that's 3 out of 7 uniques so far. So things are coming along quite nicely at Tob. Finally, after over 1,000 kills, very dry on Bandos, I finally got the Tassets. So you'll see that in the videos from here. I've just been camping the crystal legs and a BCP, so you can't really tell I've been missing them up to this point, but now I finally have the full Bandos look. And because I got the pet early on, that means it is full green log. So I don't like to get baited into thinking I have a purple by seeing the purple light when I walk in if I'm raiding with other people. So this plugin, Tombs of Masket, this section colors other people's chests as just a faded blue color. So I can still see it that there's a purple, but I can know immediately, hey, it's someone else's. I can kind of get excited for them and not get my hopes up that it's mine. So that helps out a lot. You can always change these colors too into anything else. So that's how you see some people with like red colors or other colors. But it's really helpful for seeing immediately if you have a purple or one of your friends has a purple.
We're gonna be... Oh, another Missouri potty.
So here's the spoiler alert for the Chambers video if you haven't seen that, but this is when I got my Twisted Bow. It made Zebak such an easier fight, which was great, as well as Warden. I do like doing Zebak first, and this exhibits exactly the reason why. I don't really have a random deaths on pretty much any room except for this one. You see, I wasn't able to click the angle correctly, and the jug just went off into Narnia, so I'm like panicking trying to kill a different one. Didn't make that one. Tried to do another jug, didn't hit that one, and then died. And I'd be devastated if that happened on the 4th room. So at least this is just the 1st room, and that's why I do that. So about a week after Desert Treasure 2 released, I got 34 Vardorvis kills and got a Virtus top. And if you recall from my Chambers video, I have an Ancestral hat and I have the legs. So the Virtus top just happened to be the one that dropped, which is perfectly slotted in for my magic gear. So I was beyond thrilled when I got this. And back at Zulrah, finally at 1988 kills, almost 2,000, I got the Tansbang. So I finally have a blowpipe to pair with my T-bow. So I haven't shown a purple in a while, and that is because despite doing 1 or 2 raids every single day for literally weeks, I cannot get a purple to save my life. And all these are at 390 or 400 invos, so I should have around a 9.5% chance. It has now been 55 raids, meaning I'm probably around 5 times the rate, and still no purple. So right when I said I was on track with rates on the last purple, it is definitely balanced out for the worse. You can actually use the TOA wiki calculator to determine what your exact percentage is. Sometimes the in-game points don't add up properly because I'm doing skull skipping and doing a 3-down, which gives me more points. And this is telling me, based off of this loot, I have 103 rubies in this chest. So that means that I'm doing the equivalent of a 415 on the calculator, which is exactly 9.4%. So you can kind of play around with this calculator. Like if I move this up to 420, then that's 104 rubies. So you can look at your exact loot you're getting each raid and tell down to the percentage what exactly your percentage is. So finally, after 61 raids, I got my next purple, which is a thing. So that was a little depressing to have months of raiding, literally, and come to a thing. That's how this raid goes, though. One thing that makes the Zebak waves easier is if you go to the Better NPC highlight, you can go under True Tile, and these IDs are the Zebak waves, and it makes it much easier to see where the tile of the actual wave is. It's a little bit more in front of what it looks like visually, and they're 2 tiles wide, so you can comfortably move the second you see the tiles go past you. I also like highlighting Akka's orbs. This is 11804. It helps them stand out a little more, as well as the bulber at Baba that you need to break. That one's 11783.
Oh my gosh. Rewarded. Staff, staff, staff. Please, please, please. What is it? Oh, another thing. I suppose that's fine.
So that was purple number 15. I wanted to show how to tag the colors in the monkey room here. You shift right click and then you can change each of the colors to whatever you want. So I have the melees highlighted as red, the shamans as yellow, so it just makes things nice and easy because they stand out. Outside of TOA, I was mostly doing a lot of Vardorvis at the time, and at 366 kills, I got the Butch pet. This pet is really awesome because it has an animation. You can right click and it'll do the attacks that it does in the fight. And then shortly after this, I got the Executioner's Axe Head. So there's, I guess, 1 out of 4. Killed 385, so pretty spooned on this one. And then after that, I got the Virtus mask. So Verdorvis has just been gifting me all the items. The one downside is that I probably am 0 out of 3 for the Vestige at this point because I've been getting so many other items. I was trying to take advantage of the Fang being overpowered on Slash because there were rumblings at the time that it was going to get nerfed, and it did. So I'm glad I started doing this before it did. So we sometimes do TOA as a clan. It gets really chaotic a lot of times with 7 people in a group. So many people in my clan has gotten spooned shadows. One was earlier that day, so hopefully that can be me soon.
25% chance, and it's white. Watch, you ready? Oh,
Nope.
it's purple. Not in my name.
It's mine!
Not my
Oh
name.
my gosh, no way!
Right, we're kicking him from the raid.
7 man, that's crazy.
What's he gonna get? Is it another shadow?
Can we get 2 shadows, please? Oh, another Fang. Nothing but Fangs.
So that's my 16th purple and 7th Fang. So I'm just gonna condense all the rest of my tips and tricks here, so feel free to skip ahead if you're not interested. I still see some people struggling with the pillar. The way I do it is I start by sipping an adrenaline, giving up to 3 BGSs while I tank it. 40 defense is the max that the pillar can be lowered by, which is quite a bit. So this pillar is actually really tanky. Tank until you're right above 75 hit points. The reason is the max you're gonna get hit by the orbs is 75 damage. So stay 1 above 75. And since I popped the adrenaline at 37 special, I can have my Karis go off from 1 HP. So I get the maximum value from the Karis, since this damage right here is entirely predictable. And then if I get hit by more orbs, I'll just Karis again because my adrenaline is still running and I can just Karis again. It's a really good idea to change your thrall to have just the outline showing so that it doesn't cover up any hazards that land on the ground. TOA has a lot of these like lightning hazards, and in the final phase, there's like the lightning that appears on the ground. The way you do that is you go to Entity Hider and hide the thrall. Then under Better NPC Highlight, there's an outline section, and these are the thrall IDs that you type in. I like Akka having these highlight colors when he changes from style to make it easy. So you can do that by having these radius markers set up. Death Charge is extremely OP in this raid. You get your spec back each time you go through the core phases. So that's 3 times throughout this phase that you'll get your spec back. So you should end up with 100 spec by the time you're done, no matter what. And then you can use it at Akka for every statue. I like to blowpipe spec or Karis very frequently. And then you can use that at all the Kefri eggs or other bugs to get your spec back. And it only takes 1 inventory space because you can keep 4 of the runes required for thralls and death charge, and then just add an extra stash of death runes or soul runes in your inventory. So definitely bring it. So I started to go on another Omega dry streak. It had now been 50 raids since I had seen a purple last, which is 5x rate, which is pretty brutal because I just went through a 61 dry streak 2 purples ago. So now I'm just starting to get very unlucky, but
They're all dragon dart dips. Wow, that's pretty interesting. That's definitely the best normal loot I've ever gotten.
so we were holding a boss of the week as a clan, and everyone was getting purples throughout the week. You got points for being the most kill count, as well as getting the highest value purple. I literally won the competition through kill count, but I had 0 purples. And on one raid, which went over the time, I finally got one literally 15 minutes after the competition.
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold on.
give me my money, Jiro. Give me my money.
If you have the goblin salute,
Right when the competition is over. The buzzer
45%
beater.
chance, bro. This shit's crazy.
Oh,
Never.
yeah, white bear, let's go.
Never lucky.
That's pretty normal.
Oh, man. Sorry, bro.
That's all right. So that was kill 302. So we've hit the 300 mark with 17 purples. It definitely depends on invo, but it's generally speaking, 1 out of 300 is about the drop rate of a shadow and the pet. So hopefully I can get one of those pretty soon, but I'm pretty below the purple rate. And outside of TOA, I continue my skilling, getting closer and closer to 99s. This is when I was going for 99 Slayer, and the dichotomy of the music played here is hilarious, so I'll let you watch.
I'm gonna get Eva die. That's hilarious.
So I definitely didn't mean to die as I got it, but it was just so funny when I got the dun 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 with the 99, and then suddenly the dun 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 within the same breath. Also, at the time, I was doing a CM, and then I noticed I was really close to 99 fletching, so I just finished it off with the dart tips I had in my inventory. Here's my skills as of this time. So you can see I'm pretty close to 99 in several skills. Funny enough, fire making is like one of my weakest ones, so I got to go up to Wintertot and finish that up at some point. And then agility is probably the biggest setback right now. I do like Sepulcher, so I'm sure I'll get back to it at some point, but right now TOA is just kind of my focus. Oh my gosh, it's a purple. Ooh, oh man, it's been so long. Thank goodness. I was losing my mind for a bit there. What's it gonna be? Please, stuff. Or mask? Oh, yeah, that's to be expected. At least it's not another ring. That's okay. Let's see, what are we at now? I'm just happy to see a purple. It's been, I think, 30, almost 4, was it? I think a little over 300, so it's been like 35 or 36 raids since my last one. Which at this rate, it's probably triple drop rate. The problem with that, though, it was 40 before that, before I saw my previous purple. So almost closing in on 100 raids for one purple. But now I got my second one, so still outrageously dry, but that's all right. I really like that mask. It would be such a big DPS increase. Sure, we'll get it someday. I'm just kind of trying to tune my mindset to be like, all right, I'm just going to stay here till I get like 1,000 KC, so I don't get too hyper-focused on all the purples every single raid necessarily. Just trying to take it one raid at a time, trying to get that number closer to 1,000. So just to add some more numbers to this, in my first 170 experts, I got 13 purples, which is kind of average. But then due to a 61 dry streak, a 54 dry streak, and a 36 dry streak, I only got 5 purples in the next 170. So that was pretty brutal and makes me severely under the purple rate. Unfortunate. Kind of balances out with my Tebow luck. So I guess this is where I'm paying for it. Going for the back-to-back. Oh, I didn't expect it. That's all right. Oh, thank goodness. This helps out that dry streak a little bit better. It hasn't been too long since the last one. I'm so grateful. Okay, what's it gonna be? I'll take a Missouri mask. Oh, another ward. I think that's second one, maybe? Either way, I think it's a 3 mil alk. Yeah. So I guess I'll just alk it for some cash. It's one of the higher alk ones out of all the purples. I remember doing a lot on leagues, and I got a lot of wards, and I was pretty happy every time because I ended up with a lot of money because of it. That was raid 350 for expert modes. And another white light. Whoa, that is a terrible chest. I guess I can make them into planks or something. I'm mostly relying on chambers planks to finish off construction, though. So I don't think I need logs by far, but oh well. We keep on going. So I was going to wait until I got the shadow to start worrying about doing any combat achievements, but considering that it might take a while, I started to start looking at which ones I could just do and get them out of the way.
The tri-braid purple, like...
Pause. Hey, look.
Come
Come on, please let this be it.
Let it be it, dude. It is.
Oh,
This one,
well, it's a good one at least.
That's the best minus shadow. Like, that's sick.
Yeah, that's true. How much is that? 82 mil?
Let's go.
I get
Nice.
baited with the
Well, I wish it was the helm, but that's all right. We'll take the purple. That's crazy.
I mean, we're kind of making money tonight. We got the Sang, and now we got the Missouri body.
Yeah, now we're gonna
What
get
is
it.
Cox
Get it.
gonna get?
What's the second best to
Tebow.
Scythe?
So it's kind of funny to raid with mains sometimes because their mindset towards purples is completely different than mine. They're thinking, oh, sweet, a split. Whereas me, I'm like, oh, great, my 4th chest plate. I don't care for this. So that was purple number 20. So what are my overall thoughts on Tombs of a Masket? Like I said at the beginning, I'll always have fond memories of it because it was initially what got me into raiding in the first place. The invocation system is both the best part and the worst part of TOA. It's the best because it makes the raid very inclusive and approachable. You can start trying it at almost any skill level and learn how to do the bosses. So for that, it's a wild success. I think the issue comes in the later invocations. So for example, if you're able to complete a 400, it starts to feel really bad to do anything below a 400 because the purple rate scales so hard with invo level. 300 will give you a 5% chance at a purple, but a 400 will give you a 10% chance at a purple. So then you're purposely trying to make the raid worse for yourself every time by adding a ton of health and defense to the mobs and the bosses. If there's one word to describe how I feel when I complete a TOA run, it's exhausted. Whenever I was doing chambers, I felt like I could just jump back in again and do another one and another one back to back to back. But with TOA, I literally do one and I'm like, okay, let's go do something else. I'm so exhausted by the time I finish it because you're just full focus paying attention on every boss. Like think of Kefri, for example. You're clicking in between every auto attack to move. And all the bosses, you have to pay full maximum attention. And if you don't, you can die within a second. Or if you get one little lag spike, you're just dead instantly and then have to start all over. Even if you don't run hardcore, you still are pretty much dead because you use up the salts or the restores and supplies. This raid also feels like it's completely designed around having a shadow at higher invo levels, and if you don't have one, it just feels bad. Everything takes so long to kill. My Akka kills are like 7 minutes long. The Twisted Bow is good, but it can't be used on Akka at all. I still have to use a blowpipe for everything, and it's incredibly inaccurate as you level up the invo. Sometimes I just get DPS checked by the statues that I need to kill. Overall, I'm okay with my log. I wish it could be a little better with the Missouri mask, but we'll keep on trucking. Subscribe if you want to see more videos, especially just being a smaller YouTuber. The chances are that the algorithm might not show you future videos if you're not subscribed. And I'd like to hit 1,000 subs. That would be awesome. I've got my Missouri, I've got my Twisted Bow, I've got my prayer scrolls, so my excuses have run out. So we'll try and finally go for the content that I've been avoiding for the past while. We'll see you in the next episode.